Hello, Admiral Thrawn here, making another Let's Mod video for Age of Petty Kings. This one I've decided to split in two because it's going to be a very long video. But here I'm going to show how to create brand new units for for Medieval 2. This is not the only way to do this. This is the way that I personally have figured out how to do it, and it works for me. There are other ways of doing this and all. So if you have like better software or whatnot, then you can do it that way. This way is completely free, so I like to do it this way, but it's up to you. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. So this, what I'm going to be creating here is I'm going to be making units that I'm going to call Arbor Marines. I'm probably going to have a cooler name for them, but for now they're just going to be Arbor Marines. And what they are they're going to be spearmen units with big shields, and they'll also have access to javelins. It may be swordsmen with access to javelins. I'm not quite sure yet, but something like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be using Blender for the 3D modeling here. And now this episode here will purely be based off of making a new weapon for a unit inside of Blender and how to do all that sort of modeling and whatnot. So I'm not going to show you how to actually put it into the game. That's going to be next episode. But yeah, So with Blender, you can import things. There is a plugin you can download. I don't believe this is built in, but you can download a plugin to let you import Milkshape 3D files. Now, Milkshape 3D is a sort of a... It's hard to describe it. It's sort of an intermediate kind of... So basically what it is this. Here's the sort of the workflow of the game. So you start off with what are your units and all that. They're inside of .mesh files here, inside of Medieval 2 Total War and all. Basically, all the Medieval 2 units are inside of .mesh files. You can then take those files, copy them out, and use this here, which is Grumpy Old Man's Converter, which you can download by just Googling it. It's a download from Total War Center and all. Use this converter, say convert, and say mesh to MS3D. MS3D is the Milkshape 3D file type and all that. You select that, you select a unit, like, say, this guy, double-click, and then you can proceed. I'm not going to proceed with this guy yet, but, okay, quit. So basically, that gets them into what's called Milkshape 3D, and Milkshape 3D is what you use to sort of set them up for Medieval 2 Total War. However, I prefer to do the actual modeling work inside of Blender, and I will warn you right now, this is a non-trivial task and all, but if you want to make new units, this is the way to do it, to do it and all. So I got the unit here. He's in Blender. Blender can open Milkshape 3D files and all that, and you can then edit them. So what you do is first you have to start editing him, so you hit Tab. This gives you access to all these different vertices. Now, a little bit of theory work here. Basically, all 3D models are made up of vertices in a 3D space and all that, and the vertices are then then store information like I'm right here at this location, I'm connected to these ones, there's a plane in between me and whatnot. Basically, it's all about these vertices here, which you can see these sort of locations here. Now, there are ways of getting to to be able to edit the actual things. The way that I do it is this: I click on this little thing here. It's the what's it called? It's the objects data thing. It's the upside down triangle tab. You click on that. You scroll down a bit, and normally you can select from MS3D groups here. Apparently right now I cannot. Let's try doing that again. File, import, Milkshape 3D, handle militia, and yeah, now I can. Alright, sweet. So scroll down here, select the spear. So now I've selected the spear, and so I can edit that, but I only want to edit the spear. I don't want to edit anything else, so I'm going to do Control-I, select everything but the spear, delete, and delete the vertices. Deleting the vertices deletes everything, so that's all gone now. And I'm going to delete the body, the skeleton, and the reference thingy as well, just because I don't really want those in this. So I have the spear now. However, it is an untextured spear. Now some more theory. As for how you will map stuff onto textures. Now, this here is called the Texture Coordinate Editor. You can get it if you drag this thing outwards. I don't want that. Yeah, damn it. No, join area, or there. Alright. So basically, if you drag this edge outwards and all, you can then add a new thing. You select this little button here for the window, and you go here to UV Image Editor. So this is the thing you use to actually edit the skins. So click UV Image Editor, and you have this here currently as a UV image. And then what you do if you want to actually have the image there to edit, you say Image, Open Image, find the texture that you want. Here I'm going to be using, let's just say red wine diff. This is the one that I'm going to actually wind up using, so yeah. And so now it's textured. You can see here that you got like the spear point and the wood and whatnot. The reason why it's textured now is because this thing is mapped down here onto this thing here. So basically, if I were to, I select everything like this, and I can edit the UV coordinates. So let's say I were to do this. Oh, if you want to select stuff and all, the easiest way to do it is this. You hit C in Blender, and then you can, like, that'll get you a circle. You can then scroll up, scroll down, click to select stuff, and then I believe it's shift click. Yeah, shift click to unselect stuff. So I want that. I want that. So I've now selected the body of the spear and all that. And let's say I don't like this texture for the spear. So I will rotate it. I hit R and then can move it around like that. And then scale. Oh, and if you're kind of lost at this point, it's okay. It took me like a whole summer's worth of college course and during the summer to actually learn this and all. So yeah, it's cool to get a bit lost. But yeah. And then you hit G to move it. Rotate it a little bit more to get it lined up. And so now the spear is red, which actually, I actually kind of like that texture and all. It's kind of cool. Now we'll see. Does that look good? I actually kind of like these red spears. I might actually stick with this, but yeah. So what I did here is I just made it so that these vertices now think that they are mapped onto this location on the map instead of this one, and so that's changed the texture. The spear point I'm going to keep the same, but so what I'm doing right now is this. I already have spears that work fine, but I want to create a javelin. So the javelin is going to be shorter. It's going to be probably the same-ish width, maybe a little bit, different width. And I want to have it be sort of like a Roman pila. So this upper part here is going to shrink down, and this part here is going to shrink down a lot as well. So the head is going to be a lot smaller as well. But first things first, so I'm selecting, you can choose to select whether you want vertices, lines, or faces when you select and all that. And there's a lot of different uses for those. I won't go into too much detail for now, because this is already getting kind of dense. Yeah, you probably want to rewatch it a couple times if you want to actually get the hang of this and all, or just like go through it step by step. This is difficult things, don't expect to get it all at once, but yeah, so first off, let's shrink you down, just like plain old shrink. So you select everything by hitting A. A selects everything. Hit S to scale. And there. That should be good scaling-wise. Now I want to shrink this part down even more. So what I'm going to do here is I want to select vertices, and I want to select the stuff all the way through. So for that, I hit Z. Now it's transparent. So first off, let's select, so you hit C to select a circle, drag it down there. So I've just selected these vertices. I'm not selecting anything here because there's no vertices here. These are just lines. So I get those vertices, these vertices, and then I believe I just got almost everything there. Because the trick is I don't want to select these vertices up here because these are the ones for the wood, and I want to keep the wood where it is. So there. So I selected that. And hit Z again so I can see it now. And I'm going to scale that even more. And now I want to move this so that's further up and all that. So I hit G and then X. That says you will only move along the X-axis. So basically I can move this way or not, and it won't affect it at all. If you don't hit X or Y or Z, it'll move it in every direction and whatnot, and it's terrible, so don't do that. So I'm going to move this outwards a bit. And I'm going to... Oh, another thing that's useful is this. If you hold down Shift and hold down the middle mouse button, you can move it around like this. Otherwise, it's really hard to move the camera and all. So, yeah. The middle mouse button itself, holding that down will let you rotate it. Shift holding it down will let you sort of move it and all, like move it without having to rotate the camera. So, yeah. And there's Blender tutorials out there that'll do this better than I can, but yeah. I'm gonna scale it S and Y, so scales in the Y direction. I'll shrink that down there. And scale it in the Z direction, to shrink it down there. So that's like that. And now I want to make this here a little bit larger, so I'm going to just select the head and scale that in the Z direction to make the head be a little bit larger. So that should be good. That looks like a good thing for a javelin, yeah. So you got this sort of Pila style thing going. This should have a good puncture distance and all that. And I like the reddish wood instead of the generic spear wood there. So I'll probably stick with that. So yeah, we have our javelin. Let's scale down the wood a little bit more. I think the wood is a little bit not scaled properly. So G to grab it and move it, and then X to move it in the X direction. And no, I don't want that. I didn't select everything. So select the vertices, and Z to select transparent vertices, so you can select everything. There, so you see that these lines all turned yellow. It means I selected everything here in the back. Now I can G to grab that and Z to move that. Or I don't want Z, I want to G to grab that, X to move that. No. G, no, G, X. No, that, damn it. So that did not work as planned, but, alright, this is still looking good. Alright, so, Tab to edit it, Z to transparent it, C to select it, G to move it, and X to move it along the X-axis. There we go. Much better. Alright, sweet. So, there. So, we have created a javelin. And that's it for this video. Next video, I will be showing you how to get that javelin actually into the game and create a unit around it. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Admiral Thrawn